The night sky above Seoul lit up with strange lights. Dr. Hyun looked through his telescope and froze. This was not a meteor shower or a satellite. The objects moving across the stars were huge and shaped like no aircraft he had ever seen. "Ju-woo, come look at this," he called to his research assistant. Ju-woo hurried over, her eyes widening as she peered through the lens. "Those aren't from Earth," she whispered. Dr. Hyun grabbed his phone and called the Korean Space Agency. Within an hour, every major observatory on Earth was tracking the objects. By morning, the news was everywhere. Alien ships had entered Earth's orbit. The largest ship was massive, bigger than any human city. It hovered over the Pacific Ocean, while smaller ships spread out around the globe. World leaders called emergency meetings. Military forces around the planet went on high alert. "They're not attacking," Ju said, studying the data on her computer screen. "They're just watching." Dr. Hyun nodded. For now. 3 days after the ships arrived, they sent their first message. It came to every screen on Earth at the same time, in every language. A tall, gray-skinned being appeared. Its eyes were large and yellow, its body covered in what looked like natural armor plates. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rumbling. "People of Earth, we are the Dayak. Your planet is now under our protection and control. We have conquered 17 worlds before yours. Resistance is useless against our technology. Send us your cultural information so we may better understand our new subjects. You have 2 Earth days to begin this process." The message ended. Panic spread across the world. In the emergency meeting room at the Korean Space Agency, Dr. Hyun and Ju joined military officers and government officials. "We must show them our strength," said a general, pounding his fist on the table. "That would be suicide," Dr. Hyun replied calmly. "Did you see their ships? Their technology is far beyond ours." "Then what do you suggest, Doctor?" asked the defense minister. Ju spoke up. "They asked for cultural information. That's strange, isn't it? Conquerors usually just take what they want." Dr. Hyun thought about this. "You're right. They want to understand us before they make their next move." "Then let's give them what they asked for," said the education minister. "Send them our books, our music, our history. What harm could that do?" In space, aboard the massive Dayak mothership, General Taejo studied the blue planet below. He had led the Dayak to victory across 3 galaxies. Earth would be no different. "The humans are responding to our message," reported a communication officer. "They are sending cultural data as requested." General Taejo nodded. "Good. Send it to Cultural Intelligence. Officer Sumi can analyze their primitive stories while we prepare the invasion forces." Commander Do-yeon approached the general. "Sir, should we not just begin the invasion now? These humans appear weak." General Taejo turned to look at his second-in-command. 17 successful conquests have taught me to understand my enemy first. Their weapons are primitive, yes, but there may be other factors to consider." In her small analysis chamber, Officer Sumi began receiving the flood of human cultural data. As a female Dayak, she was rare among the warrior ranks. Her talent for understanding other species had proven valuable in past conquests. The first files she opened contained myths and folk tales from around the Earth. Korean stories about tigers and clever humans caught her attention. Something about them made her pause. Back on Earth, Dr. Hyun stood with Ju on the roof of the research center, looking up at the alien ships glinting in the sunlight. "What do you think they'll make of our stories?" Ju asked. Dr. Hyun shook his head. "I don't know. But stories tell more about us than scientific data ever could." Little did they know, those stories would soon become the most important weapon in humanity's fight for survival. Officer Sumi sat alone in her analysis chamber aboard the Dayak mothership. Screens surrounded her, filled with human stories from every corner of Earth. For 3 days, she had barely slept, reading tale after tale. "You spend too much time on these primitive stories," Commander Do-yeon said as he entered her chamber. "The general wants your report." Sumi turned to face him. These stories are not just entertainment. They show how humans think. Commander Do-hyun laughed. They think like children. Their bodies are weak. Their weapons simple. What could we possibly learn from them? Perhaps more than you realize, Sumi replied. In the war room, General Taejo waited with his top officers. Large screens showed images of Earth's major cities and military bases. The Dahak had mapped every significant target. Sumi entered and stood before them. As the only female in the War Council, she often faced doubt from the warrior males. Tell us, Officer Sumi, General Taejo said. What have you learned about these humans? Sumi touched her control pad, and the screens changed to show images from human stories. Humans are physically weaker than us, yes, but their stories reveal something important. She showed them tales from Korea, stories of tigers outsmarted by clever humans, of small villages defeating mighty armies through planning and tricks. Look at this pattern. In nearly every human culture, they tell stories of the weak defeating the strong. This is not just entertainment. It is how they prepare their minds for challenges. Colonel Taeho, the most aggressive of the officers, laughed loudly. You believe children's tales will help them against our warships. This is why females rarely become warriors. The other officers joined his laughter, but General Taejo remained silent, watching Sumi carefully. 17 species before them surrendered quickly, Sumi continued. But humans have fought among themselves for thousands of years. They expect struggle. They prepare for it in their minds through these stories. Meanwhile on Earth, Dr. Hyun and Ju-woo worked with a global team of scientists trying to understand the alien technology. Using powerful telescopes, they studied the Dahak ships. Their hulls reflect our radar, Dr. Hyun said, looking at the test results. Our weapons might not be effective. Ju-woo pointed to strange patterns on the alien ships. These markings remind me of something, like the designs on ancient Korean war drums. In another part of the research center, Professor Min-jae studied historical battle strategies. As an expert in ancient warfare, he had been called to help plan Earth's defense. Throughout history, smaller forces have defeated larger ones, he told the military officers gathered around him. The key is to use the enemy's strength against them. On the Dahak mothership, Sumi continued her research while the warriors prepared for invasion. She found herself drawn to Korean folklore in particular. There was something in these stories that troubled her. In one tale, a tiger thought humans were easy prey, only to be trapped by their cleverness. In another, a mighty dragon was defeated by a simple farmer who found the one weakness no one else noticed. They always find a way, she whispered to herself. Commander Do-hyun entered her chamber again. The general has made his decision. We will attack a small human city first, to show our power. Prepare your cultural notes on their likely response. After he left, Sumi looked at the globe of Earth rotating on her screen. She zoomed in on Korea, feeling a strange sense of warning. In Seoul, Ju-woo stood on the roof of the research center at night, looking up at the alien ships. What do you think they're planning? Dr. Hyun asked, joining her. They're studying us, Ju-woo replied, just as we're studying them. Neither knew that the first attack was already being planned, nor that the key to Earth's survival might lie in the very stories they had sent to the stars. Officer Sumi could not sleep. For hours, she had been reviewing one human story after another. Something important was hiding in these tales, something the other Dahak warriors were missing. She pulled up a Korean story about a small village that tricked an invading army by making them believe they faced a much larger force. Next to it, she placed a Mexican legend about a clever rabbit outsmarting a coyote. Then an African tale of a spider defeating much larger animals through planning. Computer, analyze pattern similarities, she ordered. The screen flashed as thousands of stories were compared. The result made Sumi sit up straight. Humans don't just tell stories about winning against stronger enemies, she said to herself. They expect it. They plan for it. Across her screen, the computer highlighted a clear pattern. In 78% of human conflict stories, The physically weaker side won through cleverness, cooperation, or finding unexpected weaknesses. Meanwhile, in the Korean Space Agency, Dr. Hyun made an important discovery of his own. The alien ships communicate using frequencies similar to our old radio waves, he told Jiwoo, but with a pattern I've never seen before. Jiwoo looked at the data and pointed to a repeating sequence. This looks like the rhythm of a janggu drum from traditional Korean music. Dr. Hyun's eyes widened. You're right. How did you see that? My grandmother was a traditional musician, Jiwoo explained. I grew up hearing these rhythms. Across the city, Professor Min-jae met with General Sunwoo of the Korean Defense Forces. They stood before a large map showing the positions of the alien ships. If they attack, we cannot match their technology, General Sunwoo said. What does history tell us about facing superior forces? Professor Min-jae pointed to the map. Throughout Korean history, we have faced stronger enemies. The secret was never to fight them directly, but to make them fight on our terms. On the Dahak mothership, Sumi requested an urgent meeting with the War Council. When she entered the command center, all eyes turned to her. You have found something important, General Taejo asked. I believe so, General, Sumi replied. She displayed her findings on the main screen. Humans have a special quality we have not seen in other species. They expect to face stronger enemies and win. Colonel Taeho laughed. Stories are not reality. Female. Their weapons are primitive. Their weapons are not what concerns me, Sumi said firmly. It is their minds. They think differently than the other species we have conquered. She showed them more examples. Humans creating new strategies, adapting quickly, working together to overcome impossible odds. In every previous conquest, we faced species that surrendered when they saw our superior strength, she explained. Humans may not do this. They may have been preparing their minds for this moment throughout their entire history. General Taejo studied the data carefully. Unlike Colonel Taeho, he had not survived so many wars by ignoring warnings. What do you suggest? He asked Sumi. We should study them more before attacking, she replied. There is more to these humans than we understand. Colonel Taeho stepped forward angrily. This is cowardice. We came to conquer, not to read primitive stories. Enough. General Taejo raised his hand. We will proceed as planned with the first demonstration attack. But he looked at Sumi. We will be cautious. Back on Earth, Jiwoo had an idea. She rushed to find Dr. Hyun and Professor Min-jae. If the alien's communication system has patterns like our traditional music, she said excitedly, maybe we can use that somehow. Professor Min-jae nodded slowly. In the ancient battle of Hansen Island, Admiral Hai used signal fires to confuse enemy ships. Perhaps we can do something similar. None of them knew that the Dahak had already chosen their target, a small coastal city not far from Seoul. The first attack would begin at dawn, and Officer Sumi, alone in her chamber, felt a growing sense of dread as she continued to uncover the hidden truth about humans that her fellow warriors refused to see. Dawn broke over the coastal city of Busan. People were starting their day when 3 Dahak ships appeared in the sky. They were smaller than the mothership but still massive compared to human aircraft. Begin the demonstration, General Taejo ordered from the command center of the mothership. The ships fired energy beams that cut through several empty buildings. People ran screaming as parts of the city burned. Send in the ground forces, Commander Do-hyun said. Show them our warriors. 500 Dahak soldiers dropped from the ships. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, covered in natural armor, carrying energy weapons. They expected no real resistance. But Professor Min-jae had anticipated this attack. For days, he had been working with General Sunwoo to prepare a response based on ancient Korean battle strategies. They will expect us to use our most advanced weapons, Professor Min-jae had told the Defense Council. But those weapons will not work against their technology. We must surprise them. When the aliens landed, they found the streets empty. They moved forward cautiously, looking for humans to capture. This is too easy. The Dahak squad leader said. "Where are their defenders?" Suddenly, from all directions, simple mirrors appeared in windows and on rooftops. They reflected the morning sunlight directly into the aliens' large, sensitive eyes. The Dahak soldiers cried out in pain. Their eyes, adapted for the dim light of their home world, could not handle the focused brightness. While they were blinded, Korean soldiers attacked using weapons designed by Dr. Hyun based on ancient but effective principles. They fired arrows with special tips that could pierce the gaps in the aliens' natural armor. They used nets and traps to capture several Dahak warriors. "What is happening?" Colonel Tahoe demanded, watching from the ship above. "These are primitive humans." Professor Minji directed the defense from a bunker beneath the city. "Now use the sound devices," he ordered. Juwoo had designed special speakers that produced sounds based on the patterns she had discovered in the alien communications. The sounds disrupted the Dahak soldiers' ability to talk to each other. On the mothership, Sumi watched the battle with growing concern. "They adapted quickly," she told General Taejo. "They are not using their modern weapons because they know those won't work against us. They created new strategies in just days." General Taejo frowned. This was not expected. The battle continued for hours. The humans suffered losses, but far fewer than the Dahak had predicted. And the aliens had lost 27 warriors, something that had never happened in a first attack before. "We must retreat and reconsider," Commander Do-yeon suggested. Colonel Taeho objected angrily. "Retreat? From these weak humans? Never." General Taejo studied the battle data. "We will withdraw for now." This was meant as a demonstration, not a full invasion. "We have much to learn about these humans." The Dahak ships pulled back, taking their remaining soldiers with them. The people of Busan cheered as they left. In the defense bunker, Professor Minjae, Dr. Hyun, and Juwoo looked at each other with cautious hope. "It worked," Juwoo said. "The mirrors, the sounds, they weren't ready for such simple solutions." "But this was just one battle," Dr. Hyun warned. "They will adapt too." Professor Minjae nodded. "In the ancient text, The Art of War, it says, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." "We need to learn more about them," Juwoo said. "About how they think." Back on the mothership, Sumi returned to her chamber with new purpose. The humans had confirmed her suspicions. They were different from any species the Dahak had encountered before. She pulled up more human folklore on her screen, this time looking specifically for stories about aliens and visitors from the stars. What she found there would change everything. Sumi sat in her chamber, surrounded by screens filled with human stories about aliens. Unlike the Dahak's 17 previous conquests, humans have been imagining encounters with beings from other worlds for centuries. "They have been preparing their minds for us without even knowing we exist," she whispered. She found stories where humans defeated alien invaders using everything from water and germs to friendship and mathematics. The humans had imagined every possible way to win against visitors from the stars. Meanwhile, on Earth, scientists studied the captured Dahak soldiers and their equipment. Dr. Hyun worked day and night to understand their technology. "Their armor has a weakness," he told General Sunwoo. "It protects against energy weapons, but not against simple physical force applied to these specific points." Juwoo examined the alien communication devices. They use a system similar to our old signal drums. The patterns repeat in ways that remind me of Korean folk music. Professor Minji joined them, carrying ancient scrolls. "In Korean history, when facing stronger enemies, we used their strength against them. The Japanese ships were bigger than ours, so Admiral Yi made them fight in narrow channels where their size became a problem." "How do we use the alien strength against them?" General Sunwoo asked. Professor Minji smiled. "Their greatest strength is their confidence. They believe they cannot lose because they have never lost." On the mothership, General Taejo called his officers to discuss the failed attack. "How did simple humans defeat our warriors?" he demanded. Colonel Taeho blamed the soldiers. "They were weak. The next attack force will be stronger. Commander Do-Yum looked troubled. Perhaps we should listen to Officer Suni's warnings about these humans. Bring her here, General Taejo ordered. Suni arrived with new research. General, I've discovered something important about humans. They have a concept called Gaihap in Korea, fighting spirit. It means they fight harder when the situation seems impossible. She showed them human history, small nations defeating larger ones, trapped people escaping through clever means, individuals overcoming overwhelming odds. The 17 species we conquered before all surrendered when they saw our power, Suni explained. Humans expect to fight against impossible odds. Their stories have prepared them for this moment for thousands of years. Colonel Taeho laughed. Stories are not weapons. No, Suni replied calmly, but they shape how humans think, and how they think is their greatest weapon. Back on Earth, Ju-woo had an important realization. She rushed to find Dr. Hyun, who was studying a piece of alien technology. I know why their communication systems are similar to our traditional music, she said excitedly. Look at these patterns. She showed him the rhythm patterns of Korean jangu drums next to the alien communication signals. They were not identical, but the similarities were clear. What does this mean? Dr. Hyun asked. It means they might have visited Earth long ago, Ju said. Maybe thousands of years ago. Our ancestors may have heard their signals and turned them into music. Dr. Hyun's eyes widened. If that's true, then our folk tales about fighting monsters and powerful beings might be based on real encounters with the Dayak. Ju finished his thought. Our ancestors might have fought them before and won. On the mothership, General Taejo made his decision. Prepare for a full attack. These humans are more dangerous than we thought. We must strike hard before they learn more about us. Sumi tried one last time to warn him. General, there is something else in their stories. Something about us. But Colonel Taeho interrupted. Enough stories. We are warriors, not children listening to bedtime tales. General Taejo nodded. The attack begins tomorrow. Target their major cities and military bases. Show no mercy. As Suni left the war room, she made a decision of her own. If her people would not listen, perhaps the humans would. She needed to find a way to contact them. Back on Earth, the defenders prepared for the coming battle, not knowing that help might come from the most unexpected place. Late at night, Ju sat alone in the lab, studying the alien communication device. She had been working for hours, trying to understand how it worked. Suddenly, the device lit up and made a strange sound. Hello, can anyone hear this? A voice came through in broken Korean. Ju nearly fell off her chair. Who is this? She asked cautiously. I am Officer Suni of the Dayak, the voice replied. I need to speak with your leaders. My people are planning a full attack tomorrow. Ju called Dr. Hyun and General Sunwoo immediately. Within an hour, they were all gathered around the device. Why are you helping us? General Sunwoo asked suspiciously. Because this war is wrong, Sumi replied. I have studied your stories, your history. You are not like the other species we have conquered. What can you tell us about the attack? Dr. Hyun asked. They will target your major cities and military bases, Sumi explained. But there is something more important you must know. I believe our peoples have met before, thousands of years ago. Professor Minjae, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. In our oldest legends, there are stories of sky people with armor for skin who fought our ancestors. Yes, Sumi said. And in our oldest records, there are stories of a blue planet where the small people fought with surprising strength. This revelation shocked everyone. The humans and the Dayak had fought before, and the humans had won. Meanwhile, on the mothership, Colonel Taeho prepared the attack forces. We will crush them this time, he told his warriors. No mercy for these primitive creatures. Commander Do-Hyun was not so confident. These humans adapt quickly. We should be careful. Are you afraid of them? Colonel Taeho mocked. I am cautious, not afraid, Commander Do-Hyun replied. Perhaps Officer Sumi's warnings deserve more attention. Where is she? Colonel Taiho suddenly realized. She should be preparing the cultural report for this attack. They searched but could not find Sumi anywhere on the ship. Back on Earth, Juwu and Sumi continued to talk through the communication device. Sumi explained the weaknesses of Dahak technology and biology. Their sensitive eyes, their difficulty hearing certain sound frequencies, and their overconfidence. General Sunwoo gathered military leaders from around the world. "We have new intelligence about the enemy," he told them. And a plan. The plan was bold. Instead of trying to shoot down the alien ships, they would turn Earth itself into a trap. Professor Minjae had studied the ancient Korean turtle ships, vessels designed to appear vulnerable while hiding unexpected strength. "We will make them think we are defenseless," he explained. "But every city will be ready with specially designed traps." Dr. Hyun and his team worked through the night, building devices based on Sumi's information. They created powerful light projectors to blind the Dahak soldiers, sound emitters to disrupt their communications, and simple but effective weapons targeted at the weak points in alien armor. Juwu had the most dangerous job. With Sumi's help, she prepared a special message to be broadcast directly to the Dahak ships. "Will it work?" Dr. Hyun asked her. "I don't know," Juwu admitted, "but Sumi says that Dahak warriors have one great weakness: their pride. If we can make them doubt themselves, we might not have to defeat them all." At dawn, the Dahak attack fleet moved into position around Earth. Thousands of ships prepared to strike. On the mothership, General Taejo gave the final order. "Begin the attack. Show these humans the true power of the Dahak." But just as the fleet prepared to fire, every screen on every Dahak ship lit up with a single image. An ancient Korean painting showing Dahak warriors fleeing from human defenders thousands of years ago. "What is this?" General Taejo demanded. And then Juwoo's voice came through their communication system, speaking in perfect Dahak language. "You have been here before. You have lost before. History repeats itself today." The greatest battle for Earth was about to begin. Chaos erupted on the Dahak mothership. The ancient image of their defeat thousands of years ago shocked the warriors. Some ships broke formation, confused by the unexpected message. "This is a trick," Colonel Tahoe shouted. "Do not believe their lies." But doubt had already spread through the fleet. General Taejo stared at the image, recognizing the armor and weapons of ancient Dahak warriors. Could this be real? He wondered aloud. Commander Dohyun approached carefully. "General, Officer Sumi is missing. I believe she has helped the humans." General Taejo's face darkened with anger. "Find her and continue the attack. We will not be defeated by these primitives again." On Earth, Juwu watched the alien fleet through powerful telescopes. "It's working," she told Dr. Hyun. "Some of their ships are pulling back." "But not enough," Dr. Hyun replied grimly. "The main attack force is still coming." Through the communication device, Sumi's voice came urgently. "You must do more than just defend. You need to send a team to the mothership." "That's impossible," General Sunwoo said. "We can't reach your ship." "I can help you," Sumi replied. "I can lower the shields in Landing Bay 3 for exactly 2 minutes. But you must hurry." It was a dangerous plan, but perhaps their only chance. Juwu volunteered immediately. "I understand their language and technology best," she argued. "I should go." Dr. Hyun objected, but he knew she was right. A small team was quickly assembled. Juwu, 3 soldiers, and a computer expert. As the Dahak ships began their attack, the small human team launched in a modified aircraft. Cities around the world activated their defenses based on Professor Minjae's plan. Powerful lights blinded Dahak soldiers as they landed. Sound weapons disrupted their communications. Simple traps captured many warriors. The battle was fierce. Humans suffered heavy losses, but the aliens were surprised by the effective resistance. They had expected an easy victory. Meanwhile, Juwu's team approached the massive mothership. It was bigger than any human building, with weapons that could destroy their small craft in seconds. "We're approaching Landing Bay 3, the pilot reported, "but the shields are still up." Juwu checked the time. "Wait. Now." Right on schedule, a section of the shield disappeared. The pilot flew through the opening just before it closed again. Inside the enormous ship, Sumi waited nervously. When the human craft landed, she quickly led them through hidden corridors. "The main computer room is this way," she whispered. "If we can plant your device there, you can disrupt their entire fleet." The human computer expert carried a special virus designed to confuse the Dahak battle systems. But getting to the computer room would not be easy. "Guards ahead," Sumi warned. They hid as a group of Dahak warriors marched past. "Why are you helping us?" Juwu asked Sumi when they were safe again. "Because I learned something from your stories," Sumi replied. "Victory without honor is no victory at all. My people have forgotten this." Suddenly, an alarm sounded. "Intruder alert. All warriors to battle stations. They've discovered us," Sumi said. "We must hurry." They ran through the corridors, avoiding guard patrols. They were almost at the computer room when Colonel Teho appeared with 6 warriors. "Traitor," he shouted when he saw Sumi. "You betray your own kind for these weak creatures." "These weak creatures defeated us once before," Sumi replied, "and they will do it again." Colonel Teho raised his weapon. "Not if I kill them first." Juwu stepped forward, holding a small device. "Before you fire, you should know that we've already planted devices throughout your ship. One wrong move, and your entire system will fail." It was a bluff, but Colonel Teho hesitated. That moment of doubt was all they needed. Sumi knocked the weapon from his hand, and the humans rushed forward. The battle for the mothership had begun, even as the battle for Earth raged below. Everything would depend on whether Juwu's team could reach the main computer in time. The fight in the corridor was short but fierce. 2 human soldiers fell, but Sumi and Juwu managed to knock down Colonel Teho. The remaining humans ran with Sumi toward the main computer room. "We have less than 5 minutes before more warriors arrive," Sumi warned. Inside the computer room, huge screens showed the battle on Earth. The Dahak were winning in some places, but losing badly in others. The human computer expert quickly connected their device to the alien system. "This will send false orders to half the fleet," he explained. "It should create enough confusion to give Earth's defenders a chance." Meanwhile, General Tejo watched the battle with growing concern. Reports came in from around the planet. Human resistance was stronger than expected. And now there was an alarm on the mothership itself. "What is happening?" he demanded. Commander Do-Yun checked the reports. "Intruders in the main computer room. And, sir, fleet communications are failing. Half our ships are receiving conflicting orders." On the screens, they could see Dahak ships firing on each other, confused by the false signals. General Tejo's face hardened. "This has gone too far. Prepare the final weapon. We will end this now." The final weapon was a device that could cause earthquakes on a planetary scale. It had never been used before, even in their 17 previous conquests. In the computer room, Sumi saw the order appear on the screen and gasped. "They're activating the planet breaker. We must stop it." "How?" Juwu asked. "We need to reach the command center," Sumi replied. "But it's heavily guarded." Juwu thought quickly. "What if we don't need to go there? What if we bring General Tejo here instead?" Using the computer system, Juwu sent a message that appeared to come from Colonel Tejo. "General, urgent information about the human infiltrators in the main computer room. Come immediately. Bring minimum guards to avoid alerting the spies." It was a desperate gamble. Would the general fall for it? On Earth, the battle continued. Professor Minji directed the defense from a bunker deep underground. Dr. Hyun worked with scientists around the world to counter the alien technology. "Look at their flight patterns," Professor Minji pointed out. "They are confused. Something is working." Dr. Hyun nodded. "Juwu's team must have succeeded, but we're still in great danger." In Korea, General Sunwoo implemented the final phase of their defense plan. Following Professor Minjae's design based on ancient turtle ships, they had built special structures that looked vulnerable but contained hidden weapons. Lure their main forces to the target areas, he ordered. On the mothership, General Taejo received the urgent message. He was suspicious but decided to go with 4 guards. When he entered the computer room, he found Juwoo, Sumi, and the last human soldier waiting. "What is this?" he demanded. "The truth," Sumi said, stepping forward. "Look at the screens, General. Look at what's happening." The screens showed the battle on Earth, but also displayed the ancient images of the previous encounter between humans and Dayak. "These humans defeated us once before," Sumi continued, "not because they were stronger, but because they think differently. Their stories taught them to be clever, to work together, to find unexpected solutions." "Traitor," General Taejo shouted. "You betray your people for these primitives." "I'm trying to save our people," Sumi replied. "This war cannot be won. Even if we destroy this planet, we will lose something more important: our honor." Juwoo stepped forward. "Your people and ours met thousands of years ago. We remember it in our stories about powerful beings from the sky. You remember it too, don't you?" General Taejo hesitated. Deep in Dayak history, there were stories about a blue planet where small creatures fought with unexpected strength. "The planet breaker is charging," one of the guards reported. 10 minutes until it's ready." The fate of Earth now hung on what General Taejo would decide. General Taejo stared at the screens, showing the battle on Earth and the ancient images. For the first time in his long career of conquests, he felt uncertainty. 8 minutes until the planet breaker is ready," his guard reported. Juwoo stepped forward bravely. "You don't need to destroy us to prove your strength. The truly strong can admit when they are wrong." In human stories, Sumi added, "the greatest heroes are not those who win every battle, but those who know when not to fight." General Taejo looked at Sumi. "You truly believe these humans deserve to live?" "I do," she replied. "Their stories show they value the same things our ancestors once did: courage, honor, wisdom, things we have forgotten in our endless conquests." Suddenly, Commander Doyen's voice came through the communication system. "General, Colonel Tahoe has taken control of the planet breaker. He's bypassing your authority." On another screen, they saw Colonel Tahoe in the weapon control room. "The humans have corrupted our leaders," he shouted. "I will finish this myself." 5 minutes to weapon activation," the computer announced. General Taejo made his decision. "Stop the planet breaker," he ordered his guards. "Now." The guards ran from the room. General Taejo turned to Sumi and Juwoo. "I cannot promise peace yet, but I will prevent this destruction." On Earth, the battle took an unexpected turn. The confused Dayak ships began to withdraw from many areas. But in Korea, Colonel Tahoe had ordered a massive attack, determined to destroy the homeland of the humans who had caused so much trouble. General Sunwoo activated their final defense. All around the Korean peninsula, structures that looked like ancient turtle ships suddenly revealed powerful weapons, a combination of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. Dr. Hyun had worked with scientists worldwide to create these weapons. "Fire the electromagnetic pulse generators," he ordered. Waves of energy shot upward, disabling many Dayak ships without killing their crews. The ships fell from the sky like stones. In the mothership's weapon control room, Colonel Taeho fought against General Taejo's guards. "Traitors, all of you," he screamed. 2 minutes to weapon activation, the computer announced. Back in the computer room, Juwoo had an idea. "If we can't stop the weapon physically, maybe we can confuse it with false data." Working together, Sumi and the human-computer expert sent conflicting coordinates to the planet breaker system. 1 minute to weapon activation, the computer announced. General Taejo returned, his uniform torn from fighting. "We couldn't stop Tahoe. The weapon is still activating. We've sent it false targeting data," Sumi explained. But I don't know if it will work. 30 seconds to weapon activation. Everyone watched the screens in tense silence. On Earth, humans looked up at the mothership, wondering if these were their final moments. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Suddenly, all the lights on the mothership flickered. The computer screens went dark, then came back on with a simple message. System reset. What happened? Ju asked. Commander Doyun's voice came through. The conflicting data caused a system overload. The weapon has shut down to prevent malfunction. It will take days to restart it. Relief filled the room. General Taejo looked at the screens showing Earth, then at Sumi and Ju. Perhaps it is time for the Daihack to learn new stories, he said. In the days that followed, fighting stopped around the world. General Taejo arrested Colonel Taiho for insubordination. Commander Do-yeon worked with Sumi to establish communication with Earth's leaders. 1 month later, Ju stood in a large meeting room in Seoul. Representatives from Earth and the Daihack gathered to begin peace talks. Professor Min-jae had brought ancient books showing the first contact between humans and Daihack thousands of years before. We are not so different, Sumi said, examining the old drawings. Both our peoples value courage and cleverness. And we both love stories. Ju added with a smile. Dr. Hyun joined them, carrying a new book he had been working on, a collection of stories from both cultures, showing their shared values and wisdom. The hidden truth in our folklore, he said, was that we were always meant to learn from each other, not destroy each other. As the peace talks began, Ju and Sumi sat side by side, two individuals from distant worlds who had found common ground in ancient tales that held more truth than anyone had realized.